people make. Boy, this all the time. Mistaking winging it for spontaneity. They think because they go out on stage, we've been told as musicians our whole life, you gotta be spontaneous. Well, I can tell you this, if there's one thing I have perspective. I've worked with over 300 artists. So they say in the South, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but dang it, after 300 artists, putting in that much time with artists, you start recognizing things. I don't care what your day job is if you have a day job. The things that people do over and over there's nothing new under the sun. If you're a customer service thing, there's nothing new. If you work at a Starbucks, there's nothing really new. And so what we do is we've been taught that, and so there's nothing new to me when people say, I don't want to be spontaneous. Well, what you want to do is create spontaneity, but spontaneity comes out of form. And I will say this honestly, and I don't mean to be rude, but out of the 300 artists that I've worked with, not every one of them can really be spontaneous. They don't have that gifting. They don't have that thing that goes, I'm going for it here. Well, let me say this. They have it, but they haven't developed it. So instead, we mistake winging it. We go out on stage and make it up as we go on stage as being spontaneous. I just feel it tonight, that kind of thing. Listen, if you want to be spontaneous, then just go out on stage, you artists, and write the song while you're on stage. So you got an hour and a half show, write the song, write the melody, write the rhythm, go. Well, you wouldn't even think of that. You write your songs, you learn them, and then you go out and perform them. But performance is the same thing. So you want to think, okay, how do we construct a show? How do we construct this thing that will capture and engage people, create some moments and in some ways, make their lives better? Could you imagine making a movie with, okay, I got an idea for a movie, let's go out there and make it? I mean, it's ridiculous. Has anybody done it? Sure. I think Caddyshack had some of those elements. But that's a whole, those are such exceptions to the rule. There still was a storyline to follow. But winging it is not the same as spontaneity. It's all I'm going to say. What you want to do is create space in a show for spontaneity if we do this right. We leave the right amount of space, we have the right arrangement that allows for the spontaneous moments. And we know when we're doing those parts, okay, dude, you've got space here. You can do it short, you can do it long. Depends on how long should this part go on? As long as it works. Yeah. As long as it works. On a night when the audience is like this and they're not with you, it's not the best time to do a lot of spontaneous stuff. It's a really, really nice thing to know you have a plan and you've worked things out beforehand.
Do you remember that Pearl Jam video? They did a show in St. Louis. I can't remember the name of the song, but Eddie Vedder spotted this girl who was doing sign language. And there was a place in the song where, like, he actually, before the song started, he looked over at her and he said, come up on stage, because he saw she was doing some really cool, almost fluid-like signing, and it was really beautiful. So he brought her up on the stage and had a spotlight put on her. And so now he went into the song and everybody was focused on this girl signing. It was really amazing. Then after Eddie's vocals were done and the song was still going, he went over to her and danced with her. And it's like, everybody in the room was just like mesmerized by this. And that was a spontaneous moment, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
That but he acted on his instincts and said, that's really beautiful. Let's make, let's highlight her and bring attention to that. And it was cool. It was very selfless. It was like, took the attention off him and the band, but it just made them look even all the better.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? All I want to say, there's so many spontaneous things. I can think of Bono doing some things that worked and some things that didn't work, particularly in the early days. I remember when they did the event at Wembley, and he thought he was going to get kicked out of the band because he jumped down into the audience and tried to make something happen, and it wasn't happening the way he had envisioned it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole nother story. When you get to that space, whatever. But I'm just trying to say is one of the biggest mistakes is mistaking winging it for spontaneity. Because spontaneity, if you have some form and you create space for that spontaneity, then we're headed the right way.